Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Zone YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Premier League prediction show for Match Week 3. Cannot believe we're already in Match Week 3 and the final week before a very, very unfortunate international break. So time to jump in and enjoy some great football action. Obviously on Saturday, the midday kickoff got a London derby, Chelsea and Fulham. Manchester United play host to Burnley. They look to get back on track this weekend as well. And then that all leads up to the big one on Sunday being champions Liverpool hosting second place Arsenal to see who is currently the best team in the Premier League. You know who isn't the best right now is myself and my predictions. Only added 6 of our prediction points last weekend. Takes that total to 14 on the season. Not a great start to the year. Looking to bounce back this week with some better predictions. If you're new to the channel wondering what the point system is, 3 points for the correct scoreline, 1 point for the correct result predicted, and 0 for neither. So looking to get back on track this weekend with a few more safer predictions. With that being said, ladies and gents, let's get straight into the predictions, starting with Chelsea and Fulham. That's right, we start at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea and Fulham. This will be our Soccer Saturday live stream, so join me for that on YouTube and Assist. Cannot wait for this London derby here. We saw what Chelsea did on Friday night versus West Ham, an absolute demolition of the Hammers. Showed their class, showed their quality in the final third, something that was missing in the opening match week versus Crystal Palace. Puts them back on track, 4 points on the season, and a player that really shined in that game there was João Pedro. The goal and the 2 assists adds to what he did in the Club World Cup, and he really has become the centre figure of this Chelsea's team in his latest iteration under Enzo Maresca. Played him behind Delap on the weekend. If Cole Palmer's back, expect him to be pushed further up the pitch, but I think expect him to have that free license. He picked up different spots and picked the ball up and became a real dangerous figure all over the park for Chelsea. So he's going to be really, really important. And I think for Chelsea, it's important for them to have dominant spells like they did just before half-time versus West Ham. If they have a really good dominant spell from 15 to 45 minutes here versus Fulham, it'll go a long way for winning this game of football. But I think most importantly for Chelsea is to have a dominant spell across the full 90 minutes. It's been 2 weeks now where Fulham have looked really not involved in games and gone and picked up important points on the road and then versus a big side like Manchester United. So they'll come to this game without any fear at all. The Fulham got us another 1-1 draw, as I said last time out, versus Manchester United. 2 draws now coming from behind, so they're not fearful. They'll come to Stamford Bridge here and look to take the game to Chelsea, look to sit in deep, absorb some pressure, hit on the break. Players like Alex Iwobi and Muniz up top are going to be really, really important for them to score on the break and take their limited opportunities to put pressure on this Chelsea backline. But undoubtedly, the centre-back combination of Calvin Bassey and Joachim Andersen that are the centre-pieces to this Fulham performance. If they were as good as they were on the weekend through patches versus Manchester United, what they showed in patches again versus Brighton across the full 90 minutes, they can keep Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, João Pedro quiet. This is really, really important for Fulham. That is their backbone, which they can go play their football on the break in transition. So really important those two are at their best. I think it's going to be tight. Fulham obviously went to the Bridge last year and got all 3 points. I think, though, Chelsea get revenge here. Chelsea with a 2-1 win. It's going to be tight. It's going to be difficult, but the Blues prevail at home. Off to Old Trafford for Manchester United and Burnley. United's horror week got even worse midweek, getting defeated by Grimsby on penalties in the Carabao Cup. Knocked out in the second round off the back of a very, very disappointing performance versus Fulham where they picked up the 1-1 draw. It's really now or never for Ruben Amorim. And in this game here, I think you have to go all guns blazing. I'm looking at that front line, Benjamin Sesko, Brian and Mbumo. Can they stand up? They haven't really delivered so far at Old Trafford in a red jersey. Now is the time. The manager's job is basically on the line. This team's season is on the line here. If you don't pick up all 3 points versus Burnley, you can probably scrap it after 3 weeks. Desperately needing to get back on that win sheet, and those attackers will be pivotal because Manchester United have played some great football. They've gone and defended really, really well. Outside of the goalkeeper being Biandia and also Andre Onana, everything else defensively has been rock solid for Manchester United. But it's going forward. It's capitalising on chances. It's making the most of dominant spells, which has been the real Achilles heel of Manchester United this season and going back the last few years. I think in this game, it is going to be a massive banana skin for Manchester United. Burnley will sit in. Burnley will allow United the football. But if they get that balance between pressing and the low block right, we've seen Bournemouth do it a few times. We've seen Burnley a few years ago do it perfectly. United struggle when they have to have possession, when the onus is on them to create. When they make mistakes, they got out in transition, and that's when they look most vulnerable. So important United are careful in possession and don't give it away too easily. Looking at Burnley, fantastic result on the weekend, 2-0 over promotion company in Sunderland. Looking into this game here, Josh Cullen for me will be pivotal yet again. A goal and an assist last time out. The skipper of the side. His energy in midfield, his engine in terms of his work rate with him out the football. So important for Burnley, especially in this game versus Manchester United. You expect them to have limited amounts of the football, but when they do get it, a player like Cullen can make things tick, can provide that spark in the final third, and can really give Burnley an avenue and a chance to get a result in this game here. I think they'll approach it with that low block, but I think they'll go and press United at occasions. As I said, that Bournemouth blueprint is what every bottom half side should go and approach. Go to Old Trafford without that fear. Yes, you'll sit in and have to absorb pressure to different periods, but when you feel like you're getting back involved in the game, hit that counter press at them, try and get them off balance, and that's when you can get at Manchester United in transition. I think Burnley get a fantastic result here. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. United not good enough in the final third, and Burnley for me looking like one of the more solid sides defensively that can be so deadly in transition. We're up north for Sunderland and Brentford next. A real massive game for both these two clubs, which you imagine will be down at the bottom of the table. For Sunderland, it was a tough result last time, that 2-0 loss away at Burnley. But I think in this game, they had to go back to what they did versus West Ham United, which is a consistent effort over 90 minutes, not just peaks and troughs. I think in this game here, Granit Xhaka alongside Diarra in midfield are going to be so important. They are the heartbeat of the side. They will make things work. They will be the energizers. They will be the facilitators in midfield. And I think if they want to get in control of this game and manage the moments and momentum, that midfield is going to be so important because Brentford have the Premier League experience. They've had a few players that have been here and done it. Versus the Sunderland side that is a real misfit bunch of a lot of players coming into the Premier League. So if that midfield can get in control early and can manage this game, that will be really massive for Sunderland getting this win in this game here. Looking at Brentford, a Dango Atara goal was enough versus Aston Villa in a very workmanlike performance. 24% possession for Aston Villa, but they got the result. I think in this game here, they'll approach it with a very similar mindset. Be solid defensively, and whatever comes going forward is a bonus. I think in that final third there, the players that can make things happen are Dango Atara, Mikkel Damsgaard, the trickier players, the smarter players in possession. When Brentford have a chance on the ball, have a chance to go forward and enter the final third, try and get these players on the ball as much as possible. They will make the X factor. They will make the things happen. They will create a chance out of nothing. So those two, so important to get as many touches as they can in and around that penalty box. I do think, though, Brentford will struggle, especially on the road this season, just with the side they are, how much they struggle and have to suffer without the football. I think Sunderland get a run on here and get another dominant win. I've gone with a 3-0 Sunderland win at the Stadium of Light, beating Brentford. We're at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Tottenham taking on Bournemouth. A real exciting matchup this one's going to be. We saw Spurs last week. The fairy tale continues under Thomas Frank. A dominant 2-0 display at Manchester City where they own the key moments. They managed that game to perfection, defending the low block when they had to, winning pressed City when they felt like it as well. It was a real balanced, consistent performance, a real Thomas Frank type performance at the Etihad. And a key to that was Palhinha and Bentancur midfield. It is a real underrated midfield duo right now in the Premier League. They've got ball carrying abilities, they've got ball winning abilities, they've got smarts, and they've got that physicality as well. They can endure a press. And I think versus Bournemouth side, that is an area of the park where they can get in control of this game of football. In a Thomas Frank system, which is much more organised, much more structured, you win that midfield battle, all good things happen in the final third. It gives freedom for Mohamed Kudus, Richarlison, Dominic Solanke, Matisse Tell and company, Brennan Johnson, to go and beat themselves and express themselves in the final third because you're in charge of the football. So Palhinha and Bentancur will be massive yet again in this game here. And I think for Spurs, it's important they get a bright start. Bournemouth are a team that like to grow into the game, like to get their feet wet initially and then start to play football as the game goes on. But if you get at them initially. Get in their face, get a goal early on. It offsets what they like to do. It offsets how they like to approach away games. So really important for Spurs to get out the blocks and get running at the races here versus Bournemouth. The Cherries were fantastic last time. Had a comfortable 1-0 win after Wolves went down to 10 men with a red card. It was that Tavernier goal early on. I think once again, like I said for Spurs, if Bournemouth can get a quick start and get an early goal, something they can protect and defend, I think it's going to be so important for this game and for this result in this game here for Bournemouth. So important that they can nick an early goal or keep a clean sheet for 60 minutes so they can, as I said, grow into the game, have something to protect and not be so aggressive on the front foot. I feel like the first goal will be decisive in this game here for me. We look to the flank, Semenyo and Brooks, when they're at their best, Bournemouth look at their best, and we saw how good the Spurs wing-backs were last time out versus Manchester City, but they are vulnerable, they're able to be got at times. So, look, Antoine Semenyo, one of the most dangerous, athletic wide players in the league. David Brooks, one of the best deliveries into the box, one of the trickiest wingers in the league as well. We've got some great matchups in the wide areas, and if Bournemouth can win those matchups in the wide spaces, I give them the advantage in this game here because of the way they defend, because of how consistent they are with and without the football, and because of Andoni Iraola's implementation of his system on the road. So look, it's going to be a battle of wide spaces, battle of midfield areas. It's going to be sort of the head-to-heads in this game here that decides this game of football. I think Spurs score first, and as such, they're going to win this game. I've gone with a 3-1 Spurs win, but that doesn't show the full story. I think it'll be really, really close in this game here, but Spurs, with their quality, will edge it in the end. Our next game takes us to the Molineux for Wolves and Everton. And the Wolves, they struggled last time out. They went down to 10 men. They conceded an early deflected goal to Tavernier, backing off the back of that real underwhelming performance versus Manchester City. They're yet to be off the mark in the Premier League. What a chance this is against an Everton side that's been up and down, inconsistent in pre-season, in their Premier League as well. It's a real chance to get at this Everton side here. And look up top, Strand Larsen and Arias, the real danger X-factor players. Can they be at the races for minute one here? Can they get more touch of the football? Can they get opportunities to show what they're all about? If that can happen, I think it really, really helps Wolves in this game here because Everton's backline has not been as consistent as we saw last season. It's looked a little bit more get-assable. There's more mistakes in this Everton side. So if you get the ball to these dangerous players, Arias and Strand Larsen in particular, Wolves have a real chance in this game here for me. Looking at the Toffees, fantastic win at home. Their new home in the Hill Dickinson Stadium, a 2-0 win there versus Brighton, but it wasn't without controversy. Mistakes at the back, inconsistencies, threat going forward, threat in transition, had a bit of everything in that game there. I think they'll want a more settled, pragmatic performance. That is a real David Moyes type style of play. But look, they've got that dangerous talent up top. Jack Grealish, Iliman Ndiaye, they've got that link up, they've got that spark, and they've got that danger finally. Everton have not had this type of talent in the final third for a very, very long time. So they'll look to try and use that to get at Wolves in transition, to get the beating of Wolves in wide spaces with these dangerous players here. And for me, to create something out of nothing. This game has a feel of a game that's going to be a matter of moments. I think Everton have those players that can live up to the moments and produce in those moments here. I think if they're much more solid defensively, Everton, good things will happen. They've got that more dangerous front line for me, the more consistent front line with Ndiaye, Dewsbury Hall and Grealish alongside Barry up top. As such, they get the win here. It's going to be a hard-fought one, 2-1 in the end, but the Toffees get back-to-back wins. It's a northern battle as Leeds take on Newcastle United. Obviously, Leeds off a humbling by Arsenal, 5-0. Look, that is going to be a theme of their season. They're going to struggle against the big boys. They're going to have to make it count at home. And against Newcastle, a team that's been ravaged by some injuries and some suspensions, this is a real chance for Leeds United in this game here. I think it relies on Anton Stack in midfield, a big body midfielder that can win the ball back, provide some physicality, insert energy into this Leeds United performance. So he, for me, is going to be the centre cog for them in this game here. Can he stamp his authority early? Can he offset the physicality and the aggression and the work rate that the Newcastle midfield provides? And I think for Leeds, embrace that home ground energy, embrace the intensity of those home fans and try and live it out there on the pitch with the likes of Tanaka and Stack and that really solid foundational back line. Get stuck into challenges, throw your body around, make it a scrap versus Newcastle United side because that's the way you can potentially pick up some points in this game here. As I said, Newcastle, they lost some players. They went down to 10 men, obviously with Anthony Gordon picking up that red card. They lost more injuries in that 3-2 dramatic loss to Liverpool at St. James's Park. And as I said, a lot of players missing in this game here. It's a real banana skin for them travelling here to Ellen Road. For me, it's about those experienced players, the likes of your Bruno Guimaraes, your Kieran Trippiers, your Nick Pope, standing up here in a tricky away game that the crowd's going to be involved in, that Leeds United will be up for to try and get you over the line. It's about just getting the 3 points and getting the hell out of there. So they're going to be important, and then Willa Schuler is going to be huge in this game here. Finally gets your chance to start up top. He will have to be the guy to put away that chance. Take your first chance or take your second chance. Take one of the early ones to settle the nerves and get you and your side off to a great start in this game here. So important, the Newcastle Clinical, especially on the road, especially with the names they're going to be missing, and especially with how up the Leeds United fans and team will be for this game here. I'm going to go with a Newcastle win. It's going to be a real tough, scrappy-ass game. I've gone with the Newcastle 2-0 win away from home. They get the job done. I think Bruno Guimaraes, the difference maker for me in this game here. Brighton and Manchester City is our Super Sunday live stream fixture exclusively on YouTube, so come and join me for that live stream on Sunday. And what a game this is potentially going to be. Brighton are a team that are not afraid at home to go and take it to the big boys, and they have done that across the last few years versus Manchester City. They were unlucky last time out, a 2-0 loss away from home at Everton, where they had a plethora of chances, one-on-one opportunities, hitting the post, hitting the crossbar, missing massive chances. So they'll take some confidence out of that, travelling to a hostile environment and really taking it to the home side. But they've got to be more clinical and got to be more dangerous in the final third. I think in this game here, however, versus Man City, a team that ticks, a team that is so well put together and technically orientated, Belieber and Ayari in midfield are going to have to be your bright sparks if you're Brighton here. If they can get in control of that midfield battle, if they can halve it or just offset what Man City are doing there, it's really, really important for Brighton. It gets them 1 foot into this game here. And if they can start playing out of midfield, like we see from Belieber on the half turn, in tight spaces, spreading the game, Ayari, that vision, that foresight to play the long ball, the diagonals, if those two in the midfield are going to be central, if they can be the bright sparks, if they can make the difference, I think Brighton have a real chance to nick some points in this game here versus a very vulnerable defensive Manchester City side that can concede goals and can look leaky at times. They lost 2-0 in a real lethargic performance versus Spurs last time out. We've seen the highs of Wolves and the lows of Spurs. What are we going to get this week with this Pep Guardiola side? I think Oscar Bob will remain, but I think Doku comes in on the other side. Those two wide players with their trickery, with their difference-making ability, with their agility and speed, they are going to be important. They can provide a point of difference here and an avenue to more exciting attacking movement, which you just didn't see versus Tottenham. They were very one-dimensional, they were very slow and very readable. With Bob and Doku in the wide spaces, you've got tricky, you've got smart, you've got agility, and you've got danger on the flanks. And that could be the pivotal feature in this game that can get the better of this Brighton side. For me, it's about City bringing that same intensity which we saw against Wolves. With and without the football, if they can play with that speed, play with that intensity, that directness, all of a sudden this side looks much better. If you're playing sideways, you're playing too structured, I think City lose what they're best at, which is their danger, their X factor, their spark players. So for City, play with a little bit more freedom and a little bit more intention in the final third to get the better of this Brighton side. I've gone with a high scoring game. I've gone with a City win though. 4-2 versus Brighton here. City get up in the end. No defence on top. All attacking talent on display in this one here. The other Sunday midday fixture is Forest and West Ham United. And I think here it's a real slam dunk, unfortunately. Nottingham Forest, they come off the back of a underwhelming performance, a tale of two halves versus Crystal Palace. Poor in the first half, fabulous in the second half. But we saw last time when they were at home, they put away Brentford in the first 45 minutes. And I think Morgan Gibbs-White is going to be a catalyst in this game here versus a very vulnerable West Ham United side that don't defend well, that don't man mark, that there's spaces aplenty. That's where Gibbs-White does his best work, picking up spaces in pockets, getting his head up, driving into spaces, and playing balls in behind for the likes of Dan Ndoye, Hudson-Odoi, and Chris Wood. And look, the players behind him, Elliot Anderson, Sangare, Douglas Luiz, they'll provide that defensive cover. It's free roam and danger time for Morgan Gibbs-White in this game here. And look, if Forest come with the same intensity they've brought across the first 2 weeks, they run West Ham rugged. I think for them, they have literally no chance in this game here. 5-1 loss, an absolute embarrassment to the football club, losing at home versus Chelsea. For me, it's Jared Bowen or bust. If he can produce some moments of magic, they might have a foothold or an avenue into this game, but I just don't see any other help outside of Jared Bowen right now. If they're going to win this game, you need that back five to be much better. It has been so far off their best, whether it be the goalkeeper not making good enough saves, whether it be Tadibo and Kilman being nowhere near their best at the back. It just has looked like an absolute basket case. If they're going to compete in this game, be dangerous in this game, it's got to start at the back. Clean sheet has to be number one and the forefront focus for West Ham this game here. If they concede first, it's wraps. It's curtain this game here because Forest have too much talent. I've gone with a Forest 4-0 win. Pretty easy for me. West Ham just not good enough right now in the Premier League. Time for the massive game on Sunday. Champions Liverpool play host to second place Arsenal in what is a bit of a grudge match and a bit of a testing out for where these two sides are early in the Premier League season. Liverpool came off another dramatic late winner, with this time superstar teenager Rio popping up in the 100th minute to get that 3-2 win over Newcastle United. It's now 4-2 and a 3-2 win in the opening 2 weekends. They're going to be vulnerable defensively, but boy, they're going to be dangerous going forward and a real threat in the final third. And it wasn't their best game versus Newcastle United, but they made their moments count, and that's why they are champions. Look, in this game here, I think it's the perfect occasion for Florian Wirtz to pop out, to show out and break out and show us what he's all about in the Premier League. We saw patches in that Community Shield, far from his best in the first 2 Premier League games, but against a rock-solid Arsenal backline, if there's any man in world football to pick apart that back four, it's going to be Florian Wirtz. And his link-up with Hugo Ekitike at times has looked marvellous, telepathic, and just unbeatable. In this game here, I think he holds the key for Liverpool. If he's involved, if he's driving those spots, if he's getting his head up, one-touch stuff in tight areas, I think Liverpool get on top of this game and they run out winners. If he's his quiet self, like we've seen across the first 2 Premier League games, it becomes a real battle of who takes their moment, who takes their half chance. But Florian Wirtz can make a half chance a top tier 10 out of 10 type chance because of the vision, because of the ball playing ability, because of the technical ability on the football. So Florian Wirtz, so pivotal for Liverpool in this game here. And I think for me, it's Liverpool's ability to limit transition attacks, limit Arsenal getting in a 3-on-2 situation versus Van Dijk and Konate at the back. If they can be a little bit more careful in possession, they can have midfielders hold back a little bit more and protect that back line. I don't really see Arsenal having a way to get at this Liverpool side because they do have a great back line. Yes, it's looked vulnerable at times, but it's because they've committed so many numbers up the pitch. So a bit more safer in possession and a little bit more safer with how many numbers you commit up the pitch. And I just don't see Arsenal having a way to break down Liverpool. Looking at the Gunners, fantastic bounce-back performance, a 5-0 win versus Leeds the last time out, but that's what you expect with the Gunners. In this game here, to beat this incredible Liverpool side, it's down to that midfield combination of Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi. The defensive coverage, and then the ball-playing ability. The ability to win the ball back and drive your side forward, and then maintain possession when you have the football. So important on the road. Important factors that contribute to winning away games in the Premier League, and in particular at Anfield against a very hostile Anfield crowd. I think they need to manage the key moments, they need to manage momentum, and they need to keep Arsenal as much as they can in control of this game here. Because if Liverpool make it a back and forth, end-to-end type game, they've got too much talent, too much attacking danger for Arsenal to prevent. But if it's a little bit more safer, a little bit more pragmatic, that's when Arsenal can find their way into this game here. They can take their chances and run out winners. I think it's so important that Arsenal go to Liverpool here and have a willingness to go and attack. Don't go there with your legs, your tail between your legs, and go there fearful of going to express yourself, because this Liverpool backline is vulnerable. Their fullbacks do commit hard at the pitch. So go at them. Try and score that first goal. Get the game on your terms. If they come there and be pragmatic and passive, Liverpool will just run over them. So it's going to be really dictated on how and what Arsenal side rock up here to Anfield to come and play football. I've gone with a tight game. I've gone with a pragmatic type game. I've gone with Liverpool 1-1 draw here against Arsenal. I just think both teams are happy enough to take the point and move on. And right now, I think both teams are too scared to lose this game of football for any team to go out there and try and win this game for me. So 1-1 draw between Liverpool and Arsenal. The final game is Aston Villa and Crystal Palace from Villa Park. And it's alarm bell times right now for Aston Villa after another horrendous performance versus Brentford. A 1-0 loss to one of the sides that may get relegated shows where this side is at mentally and performance-wise as well. I think this game here, we need to see Morgan Rogers back. Get him on the ball. Allow him that freedom to float that front line there and make things happen, because he is not getting enough touch of the football. He looks a shadow of himself, and he honestly looks not involved at this current point in time. Need to find a way to facilitate for him and get him with the football, because he is a wizard. He is so dangerous when he has the football at his feet. An X factor, a game changer, a line breaker. He has all those abilities to change a game in the favour of Aston Villa. And against such a solid back five in Crystal Palace, you're going to need a player like Morgan Gibbs-White to break this game apart. So it's so important that Villa are at it for minute one. They get in the football and they get a bright start here at home versus very, very solid defensive Crystal Palace side, who got another 1-1 draw, hard fought at home against the European rivals in Nottingham Forest. They showed patches in every single game. And I think in this game here, Will Hughes alongside Adam Morton are going to be so important. That combination is so underrated, and it betters a lot of Premier League midfields and their combinations in this league. I think they run over the top of this Aston Villa midfield. And if they do that, if they can run it over the top of them, they can cover off defensively. They can make the right reads in the midfield areas in terms of their possession and passing. I think Crystal Palace have a real threat in this game here to get at Aston Villa in transition, give Ismail Assar, Jean-Philippe Mateta and Justin Veni chance on the break. They're going to eventually put them in the back of the net. So I think it's going to be a real tight game to call, and as such, I've gone with a draw. Another 1-1 draw here. Palace's defence, once again, holding up very, very strong away from home, and Aston Villa's attack just simply not good enough. As such, they cancel their out, and a 1-1 draw it is for me. That being said, ladies and gents, that is all my predictions for all 10 games in Match Week 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What is your game of the weekend? Who are some of your key players you're looking at over this weekend? Let me know your score predictions in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, guys, smash a like and subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more videos and podcasts, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload here on the channel. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Enjoy the weekend's Premier League action, and I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.